There's a question regarding some of the supporters of Mohammed ibn Hadi and whether it is permissible to take knowledge from those who support him fanatically, meaning that they know his reality and their reality has been made clear, yet they still persist in ta'assub with him. Then our sheikh, the allama, al-muhaddith, the imam of al-jarh wa ta'deel of this era, then he has stated that anyone who supports Mohammed ibn Hadi knowingly, knowing that he has committed dhulm and he has oppressed and that he has made allegations against some of the best of the people in the ummah today, such as Sheikh Ubaid and Sheikh Abdullah al-Bukhari, and even against Sheikh Rabee. And he has made severe allegations oppressively against many of the students of these great scholars, such as his accusations against Arafat al-Muhammadi and Muhammad Ghalib and Abdullah al-Dhufiri, and other than them, Abdulillah al-Juhani. Then all of those allegations, we know them to be false. That does not mean that they are infallible. The issue is not perfection. The issue is that their manhaj and their aqeedah is the manhaj Salafi and aqeedatul Salafiyya. And they are not known for deviation and misguidance. And they are not known for opposition to the sunnah when they know it to be the truth. And they are not known except that when a mistake is made, that they return to the haqq. They are not from any of the well-known sects, and nor do they share the traits of any of the well-known sects, neither of the sects of old or the newly invented sects of our times. So these brothers and these mashayikh and these ulama and these a'imma, they do not have the traits of the Khawarij, nor the usul of the Khawarij, nor the Murji'ah, nor the Shia, nor the Jahmiyyah, nor the Asha'ira, nor the Lafdhiyya, nor the Maturidiyya, nor do they have the traits and nor the usul of Jamaatul Tabligh, or Ikhwan al-Muslimin, or Ikhwan al-Muflisin, or Hizb al-Tahrir, nor the Haddadiyya, nor the Hajawira, nor do they have the ideas and the corrupt usul of al-Halabi, of al-Ma'ribi, of al-Urur, or of al-Maghrawi. So over a year has gone by, maybe 2 years now nearly, with these allegations in an attempt to split the ranks of the Salafis and Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah, they persist. And all of it is nothing but mudslinging from Mohammed ibn Hadi and his followers and those who staunchly defend him and have ta'assub towards him. And then they come along a group and they say, oh, but you used to praise him. Yes, we used to praise al-Hajuri before him, and al-Halabi before him, and al-Ma'ribi before him. But when a person that he opposes the scholars of this ummah and he oppresses them and he speaks untruths about them and he makes allegations against them, and he himself is 30, maybe 35 years younger than those big scholars, that he's a child in front of Sheikh Rabee and Sheikh Ubaid, and he used to call them. He used to say about Sheikh Rabee, waliduna. And he used to say about Sheikh Ubaid, waliduna. Has Sheikh Ubaid's manhaj changed? Then show us where. Has the aqeedah of Sheikh Ubaid changed? Show us where. Sheikh Rabee, his manhaj and aqeedah is the same as it was in the time of Al-Albani and Ibn Baz and Ibn Uthaymeen. Nothing has changed. yet they make allegations against them. And I've heard them with my own ears from the mouth of Mohammed ibn Hadi. As Abu Hakim and Abu Idris and countless others from our brothers and from our mashayikh. From the mouth of Mohammed ibn Hadi. So when a person says, oh, but you're reading and you're just following, we've heard it. We have been in his company for 25 years or so, or over 20 years. So we know what we are talking about. And even if that wasn't present, then I know that Sheikh Rabee advised him, not on one occasion, on more than one occasion. And Sheikh Rabee advised him, come, let's sit with those brothers that you make accusations against, and let's show the evidence to them, and let's establish the hujjah. And he refused. He refused. A year and a half has gone by. More than a year and a half, Allahu A'lam. But about a year and a half. I don't want people to hinge or make their claims upon a statement that I make. Approximately a year and a half. A man lives in Medina with Sheikh Rabee, and you say, Sheikh Rabee waliduna, for a year and a half you haven't visited your walid? What kind of son are you? Sheikh Rabee is alive. Year and a half and you don't visit the Imam of Jarh wa Ta'deel, that you yourself used to say that whomsoever speaks against him, then know that this is a person who is misguided. Year and a half, more than a year and a half has gone by and you have not visited Sheikh Ubaid. What kind of a walid is he to you? And if it is the case that you hold them to be deviated, then bring your evidence for splitting the ranks of Ahlus Sunnah in every place. In Morocco, in Algeria, in Libya, in Egypt, in Kuwait, in France, in America, in Holland. Everywhere your name is, the Salafis have split, making wala and bara around you. Why could you not humble yourself? Why could he not humble himself? And say, right, I want a meeting with Sheikh Rabee, as Sheikh Rabee requested. Ask for a meeting with Sheikh Rabee and with those that you are arguing against. Invite Sheikh Ubaid and invite Abdullah al-Bukhari. And you could have resolved this issue over a year and a half ago. But instead you sat us in your house and you reviled the brothers upon the Sunnah. Like our brother the Sheikh Arafat and Abdullah al-Juhani al-Rifa'i and Abdullah bin Silfiq al-Dhufiri and others that you reviled in front of us, and that you spoke ill of Sheikh Ubaid. And we know this from you. How hard would it have been for you to say that I have these issues and I will bring my evidence? That they claim that he has so many hundreds of pages. Where is it published, these hundreds of pages that you gathered? Where is your evidence that you told us that you have a malaf? That you told me, and you told Abu Hakim, and you told Hassan al-Somali, and Uwais al-Tawil, and Abdullah al-Lahmami. In your house, we were sitting with you, and we were sitting in front of you. He said, I have a malaf. So where's the malaf? Where's this file that you have? Why haven't you published it? That you allow masakin from all over the world to attack Sheikh Ubaid and attack Sheikh Rabee and attack Sheikh Abdullah al-Bukhari. That they attack the ulama of Sunnah. When at one time you used to sit with them hand in hand. What is your evidence against them that you warn against Abdullah al-Bukhari? Where is his mukhalafah to the Sunnah and the usul of Salafiyya? Show us the errors in the usul of Abdullah bin ar-rahiem al-Bukhari. Don't tell me that he made a mistake, because I would have made dozens more mistakes than him. The mistake is not the issue. The issue is that when a Salafi makes a mistake, did he recant from his mistake? Does a Salafi return from his error, whether it be a slip of the tongue or an error that he makes? Like Ibn Uthaymeen, when Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Baz advised him and he rectified his mistake. When Sheikh Al-Albani sometimes used to make an error, that he used to write the tarajur. Because we're humans. Make a hadith sahih and realize actually I was mistaken and then correct it. Take a position one day and then realize that there's another evidence and you rectify the position. That is not the issue. The issue is that if you have the usul that you claim or that you believe or that you suspect that have been opposed by the likes of Sheikh Rabee or Sheikh Ubaid or Sheikh Abdullah al-Bukhari, then bring it. Who has prevented you? When people come to him and they say to him, what has been narrated and what they've spread through Twitter and WhatsApp groups, that people are not to sit with Sheikh Abdullah bin ar-rahiem al-Bukhari, graduate from the Islamic University of Medina, masters from the Islamic University of Medina, PhD from the Islamic University of Medina, a teacher in the Islamic University of Medina, one who is appointed for fatwa in Masjid al-Quba and elsewhere during Hajj and outside of Hajj. This scholar of Hadith and Sunnah, you regard him to be an opposer? Then show us. Enlighten us. Which usul of the Khawarij, or the Murji'ah, or the Qadariyah, or the Shia, or the Haddadiyah, or the Hajawira, or Ikhwan, or Tabligh has he agreed with? That now you warn the people from him. And you demand from the people in every place, in America, in the UK, in Holland, in France, in Morocco, in Egypt, in Libya, in Algeria, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Kuwait, in Bahrain, that you ask the people to abandon Abdullah al-Bukhari and Ubaid al-Jabiri? Upon what evidence have they opposed the usul? If they made an error, then explain the error that they made. So when Sheikh Rabee said that Fulan, when they asked him the question and mentions a particular name, I'm not going to repeat the name. But when Sheikh Rabee was asked about this particular person, he said, do not support or do not take knowledge from the one who gives aid and supports the falsehood of Mohammed ibn Hadi. It's not easy. And it wasn't easy for us in the beginning because we know him 2 decades and more. A man that you know for 2 decades and more, and then you hear him starting to speak against the very same scholars and the very same people of Sunnah that he used to praise in front of us. Dalil Sheikh. Sayati. Inshallah. It will come. Where? Where's your evidence? That you speak, that you allow Shabab to write in your name, Fulan and Fulan Libi, Fulan and Fulan Bahraini, Fulan and Fulan Hollandi. Write your work like Sheikh Rabee used to write. Quote verbatim, word for word. Name the tape. Name the side of the tape. Sometimes Sheikh Rabee, when he used to refute the likes of Safar and Salman and Ar-Ur and others, he used to say, this is the name of the audio, side A, and 15 minutes in. This is what Fulan said. This is Sheikh Rabee. Or he would say, go to this book of Fulan, turn to page 130, Taba'a such and such, edition such and such, printed in 1994, or in 1420, or whatever. This is Sheikh Rabee's manhaj. Not rumor mongering. Not putting thoughts in the people's mind that something is to come. And in the meantime that you can accuse people of being fornicators. Fulan ahir. Fulan is a drunkard. Fulan is a fornicator. Fulan is such and such. It's been a year and we're still waiting for evidence for that. That you're going to call another Muslim a fornicator or a drunkard. We're waiting for evidence for that. And what's the asal anyway with regard to a Muslim who commits a sin? Is it not to conceal? Not that you take it to the mimbar. Can you imagine me coming on the microphone now and saying, Fulan, the son of Fulan, who lives on such and such a street, he's a fornicator, by the way. And if you were to open up his internet, he's watching pornography. Imagine any of us. What kind of a caller to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would do that in public? In front of all of the people, highlighting the sins of others and naming them by name. And then when you are asked to bring the 4 witnesses, that is a Shari'i requirement, a year goes by and you can't. Over a year. But that's to one side anyway. Just the generality of the attacks and the splitting and the cause of splitting. Then you are the sabab. He is the sabab. And those who are around him. And wallahi, from the worst. You're talking to people who have been around in the da'wah for over 25 years. We know. The worst of the people are around him. That we used to consider to be the worst in terms of their speech and their backbiting and their slander and their corruption and causing fasad and fitna amongst Ahlul Sunnah. They were known, and he used to know them to be like that. We used to sit and he used to criticize them. And they were known to be mufsidun, and now they are the ones sitting around him. And then he has the right to say about Sheikh Rabee, that the bitana of Sheikh Rabee, that the circle around Sheikh Rabee, that the inner circle around Sheikh Rabee, that they are evildoers. You have the worst evildoers around you, and we know them. And we have known them for years to be people who cause fitna and fasad and tashwish between Ahlul Ilm and between the Salafi du'at and between the Salafi mashayikh. So that's why Sheikh Rabee said, don't sit with such a person who defends the dhulm after knowing it to be dhulm. Of course, if a person is ignorant, he doesn't know, then he doesn't know. We're not going to, bury a person because he doesn't know. He doesn't know. No, everyone is expected to know, but the one who knows, he has stood in front of Sheikh Rabee and he has stood in front of Sheikh Ubaid and he has heard Sheikh Rabee, Sheikh Ubaid, Sheikh Abdullah and the mashayikh, Sheikh Abdullah bin Salfiq al-Dhufiri. These aren't youth, these aren't shabab, they're the same age as him. Abdullah al-Dhufiri, Abdullah al-Bukhari, they're not youngsters to Mohammed ibn Hadi. Even myself, we're similar age. What is he, 4 years, 3 years older than me? Possibly. I think Abdullah al-Dhufiri is older than him, Allahu a'alam. Abdullah Bukhari may be a year younger. We're not talking about, the level of Sheikh Rabee in his 90s or Sheikh Ubaid. So when a person, he's a very old man. He's not an old man. Well, unless you consider me an old man. The point is here, barakallahu feekum. When people come and they divide and they cause division in our ranks, the first reaction is, let's go to the a'immatul huda. Let's go to the imams of guidance. Let's go to the scholars of sunnah. Let's ask them. Before he spoke, let's say he was too shy. After Sheikh Rabee had said what he said to him, that you don't have any evidence, bring what you have. He brought the papers and Sheikh Rabee read them. I asked Sheikh Rabee on 2 occasions. I asked Sheikh Rabee, Sheikh Rabee, they're saying that you didn't read what he brought to you. He said, I read it all. From the beginning to the end. Every word I read it. There is not sufficient evidence in there for what he does. There's no evidence for what he's accusing them of. So this is Sheikh Rabee. Okay, so now you're not happy with Sheikh Rabee. That Sheikh Rabee did not take your evidence. Take the same evidence and go to Sheikh Abdul Muhsin. Take it. Anyone stop you? Is there a wall around Sheikh Abdul Muhsin that you can't get by? Go to Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, Allama, from the scholars of Medina. 35 years your senior. Similar age to Sheikh Rabee. Go to him. Okay, you don't want to go to Sheikh Rabee. Go to Sheikh Abdul Muhsin. Yeah, Sheikh, I got all of this evidence against Fulan and Fulan and Fulan, including Sheikh Ubaid, including Abdullah Bukhari, including Fulan and Fulan. Yeah, Sheikh. Don't want to go to him? Go to Sheikh Ali Nasser. Older than you by 30 years. Go to Sheikh Ali Nasser and show him the evidence. Not enough? Go to Riyadh. You make enough journeys. Go to Riyadh. Go to Sheikh Al-Fawzan. Here's my evidence. Why do you want to go to Sheikh Fawzan and say, Ya Sheikh, what do you say about, send others, Sheikh, what do you say about Fulan? Or what do you say about Mohammed ibn Hadi? What do you say? That's not how you're going to resolve the issue. Go and sit with him and say, here's my proof, Sheikh, against Ubayd bin Abdullah al-Jabari, Rabee bin Hadi al-Madkhali, Abdullah bin ar-rahim al-Bukhari, and those around them. Ya Sheikh, I've written it. Whatever pages, what did he, at one time I think he went right up to about 500 pages. And then it kind of like fluctuated between 200 and 500 or 300 and whatever it is, we don't mind. Take it. Why don't you take it to them? Why has it taken 2 years and they still haven't seen your evidence? Because you are not in, he is not in a position to judge for the whole of the ummah. Ahlus Sunnah are in their millions in the dunya. You as one man are going to pass a hukum to split their ranks and break them into pieces? As one man, similar age to me, a few years older? Wallahi, you'd be petrified in your own soul before speaking. That your kalima, you're going to phone Algeria, you're going to phone Britain, because he did. He phoned Algeria, he phoned Britain, he phoned Morocco. Him phoning. He phoned. Because he phoned me. And he phoned others. You're going to phone, he phoned all of these people for what? That you're going to split Britain, then France, Holland, Morocco, and you have no one greater than you, no one older than you, none of your teachers are with you, none of your mashayikh are with you. Your father, as you claim, Sheikh, metaphorically speaking, as you claim, Sheikh Rabee Waliduna, he's not with you. So you, individually, independently, without going to any of the ulama, were phoning around and doing this because there was no one with him, I know. Because when we sat in his house and we asked him, Sheikh Rabee with you? He said, yes. A few months later we went to Sheikh Rabee. Sheikh Rabee said, I've never been with him. The opposite is true. Told him to fear Allah. You have no evidence. We realized, subhanallah, he didn't tell us what was the truth in his house. So I thought to myself, maybe I heard it wrong. Abu Hakim, he said, that's what he said. Hassan Somali, this is what he said. Owais, this is what he said. He said, Sheikh Rabee is with me. I said, Abdullah al-Ahmami, he said, that's what he said. And there were three others in the room. Okay, maybe a slip of the tongue. He said, Sheikh Ubayd. He said, inshallah, Sheikh Ubayd will be with me. I'll visit him. Within about a few months, he was criticizing Sheikh Ubayd, just like he criticized the likes of Arafat and Abdul Ilah, Abdullah al-Zafiri, and others. Ya ikhwan, this is how we are to deal with each other. Imagine if someone did that in our ranks in Birmingham. Someone just came in and said, right, Abu Hakim, don't listen to him. Abu Idris, don't listen to him. Who says? Fulan says. Say, okay, so now we're going to divide our ranks because one person made a comment. Ya akhi, where's your dalil? Which bid'ah did Abu Hakim fall into? Which bid'ah did Abu Idris fall into? Which major sin did they publicize? Don't tell me you've got some CCTV around their house. That's not our concern. Right? We don't spy upon people. La tajassasu. Do not spy upon each other. Which major sin did they make apparent? Which bid'ah have they fallen into? What is the bid'ah of Arafat? What is the bid'ah of Abdullah al-Zafiri? What is the bid'ah of Abdullah bin ar-rahiem al-Bukhari? What is the bid'ah of Sheikh Ubayd? If you hold them to be deviated and you warn against them, as he does, he warns against them. When he warned against Sheikh Ubayd, he warned Maktab al-Salafiyya against Sheikh Ubayd al-Jabari. And he warned against Arafat. So you're warning against them. What's their problem? What's their deviation? Is their deviation take them outside of Ahlus Sunnah? He said, no, I won't make tabdi upon them. Jayyid. So they're not mubtadi'ah. So what you've been fighting for a year and a half for people who are not even mubtadi'ah to you, they're not even people of bid'ah, even though initially he was saying, count them amongst Ahlul Bid'ah, count them amongst Ahlul Ahwa. And how many people narrated from him that he said, Laysu bi Salafiyin, they are not Salafis. So then he said, no, actually, I was saying that they have the sifat of Ahlul Bid'ah. They are not Ahlul Bid'ah. But they are Sa'afiqa. Jayyid. So there's a group within the da'ira, within the circle of Ahlul Sunnah, there is a group called Sa'afiqa. Ever known this before? That there's a group of deviation. Are they deviating? He said, yes. Should we sit with them? No. Should we warn against them? Yes. What about the one who sits with them? Don't sit with the one who sits with them. That's what he says. Take all of their audios off your website. Jayyid. This is what he says. So he's given them a label, Sa'afiqa. So they are Sa'afiqa. So imagine Ahlul Sunnah is a circle. Within Ahlul Sunnah there is another circle called Sa'afiqa. Is that known in the history of Islam? That there is a sect within the sect of Ahlul Sunnah. There is a firqa madhmuma, a misguided sect within the sect of Ahlul Sunnah. Where did this come from? So my brothers and my sisters, alhamdulillah that Britain, or the Salafis in Britain by and large, the vast majority of them have remained united. Why? After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is because we remain steadfast behind the A'immah, behind the Imams and the scholars of Ahlul Sunnah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided us and kept us steadfast in this particular fitna. And may Allah keep us steadfast through all future fitan, those which are apparent and those which are hidden. Because you think to yourself, this is a fitna, and the Prophet ﷺ said that the believer will be afflicted by a fitna, and he will say to himself that I am destroyed. So then he comes out of the fitna and he is not destroyed. Then the next fitna that comes is even greater than the fitna that came before. So these fitan will continue and continue. So if you held steadfast in this fitna, then know that this is not the end. Our ulama are becoming old in age. Sheikh Rabee is old, 90s. Sheikh Ubaid, old, late 80s and 90s. Sheikh Al-Fawzan, old, 90s. Sheikh Abdul Muhsin, old, late 80s and 90s. They're going to pass away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve them. Then you will see who is going to be steadfast. Then you'll see the reality. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us steadfast upon His path whilst they're alive and after their death, because the real battle will begin when they start passing away. Because you can see whilst they're alive what they're doing, some of these people. Right? You can see what they're doing whilst they're alive. How they're attacking Maktaba Salafiyya, the rest of the Masajid and Marakiz in America, in Britain, in Canada. That's while Sheikh Rabee is alive and Sheikh Ubaid is alive. So after they've passed away, it is your iman in Allah and your steadfastness, your istiqamah, that will carry you through. But I know, as happens with every fitna, you'll see that the ranks, they decrease. But alhamdulillah, Allah always increases the ranks with new people. That's why many of the brothers that are sitting in front of me now, you weren't here 10 years ago, some of you. Many of you. Even 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, some of you weren't here. So you missed those who left because they were polluting. So when they left, it was tasfiyah, it was purification of the ranks. They chose themselves to leave, and Allah brought you. Don't be the one who leaves. Don't be the one who leaves. You can see what we're teaching, and you can see what we're upon. If you see any deviation or misguidance or bid'ah or mukhalifa in the usul, then tell us. Tell us. Wallahi, just tell us. Say, listen, here's what Ibn Taymiyyah said in Al-Aqidatul Wasitiyya, and this is what you said on Wednesday, ya akhi. Taqillah. And you look, you say, oh, sorry, ya akhi. Astaghfirullah. My mistake. Easy. How hard is it? Right? Because that's why we mentioned the ayah that we mentioned today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us safe and steadfast upon his deen and upon the sunnah of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wa subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
والذين يرمون المحصنات ثم لم يأتوا بأربعة شهداء فاجلدوهم 80 جلدة ولا تقبلوا لهم شهادة أبدا وأولئك هم الفاسقون. إن الذين يرمون المحصنات الغافلات المؤمنات لعنوا في الدنيا والآخرة ولهم عذاب عظيم. فاسألوا أهل الذكر إن كنتم لا تعلمون.
يقول: هل يجوز أخذ العلم عند رجل قذف مسلما في المسجد وعليه ملاحظات كثيرة؟
هذا إذا لم يتب ولم يعتذر من يطلب المسامحة من المقذوف لا يؤخذ عنه العلم. نعم.
بحب الزعامة وله محاضرة في هذا.
نعم.
أنا لمحمد بن هادي أن يخرج عن صماته. نعم. فالمتعصبة له يحبكون حبقا لإسقاط الشيخ ربيع، ويأبى الله والمؤمنون إلا أن شاء الله أن يعلو صيت الشيخ ربيع وعلمه وفضله. نعم.
يقولون الشيخ ربيع لم يقرأ الأدلة، يقولون أن الشيخ ربيع لم يقرأ الأدلة.
كذابين. هذا كلام
لا إله إلا الله.
هذا كلامها. هذا كلامه كله ثرثرة ما عنده ولا دليل.
لا إله إلا الله.
ما عنده ولا دليل. يقولوا طلعوا أدلة. قولوا ما في أدلته. قولوا هذه أدلة محمد هادي.
أحسنت، جزاك الله.
قولوا هذه أدلته.
الشيخ
ربيع ما عرفها، خلوه ما عرفها. بارك الله فيك. ما قرأها. هتطلعوا ولا لا؟
يلا أعطونا حطوها لنا.
قولوا.
جزاك الله.
أنا
سؤال يا شيخ.
أنا قرأتها حرفا ما وجدت عنده ولا دليل. قرأت كلامه حرفا ما عنده ولا نصف دليل أبدا. بارك الله فيك. هيا اسمعنا أقول لكم، الذي عنده دكتوراه ولا عنده ماجستير وعنده شهادة جامعية، جهال هؤلاء يقول صافقة ويطعن فيه ويبدعهم.
بالنسبة الشيخ ربيع الحمد لله أنتم صبرتم على ناس كثيرين، عبد الرحمن عبد الخالق أخطأ وصبرتم عليه. الشيخ محمد لازم تصبرون عليه.
صبرنا عليه لكن عبد الرحمن أخطأ ولا أشم أشار فتنة محمد هادي.
قوة الفتنة
هذا طبقت العالم ويصرح بعدم الاجتماع. بارك الله فيك. ايش نقول؟ نسكت؟ ما نسكت عنه؟ يعني ينشر الفتن والمشاكل. احنا ما شاء الله. اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين.
في الدارين. حفظكم الله.
جزاك الله خير شيخنا. حفظك الله.